Hello, my motor enthusiasts. You're tuned into F1 Motor Fever podcast.
Absolutely buzzing for today's discussion, aren't we, Enzo Watts?
Indeed, we're delving into the aftermath of the Las Vegas Grand Prix today, a real controversial race.
That's right, stemming from Carlos Sainz's penalty, no less. A 10-place drop for something that wasn't his fault, wasn't it?
Exactly. A rogue manhole cover destroyed his car during the first free practice, leading to a chassis and engine change.
So, Sainz and Ferrari couldn't convince the FIA that the penalty was unjust.
Unfortunately not. He had to start from 12th, not 2nd, which definitely had an impact on his championship standing.
And what about Ferrari's performance at that Grand Prix?
Well, Charles Leclerc did manage to secure second place, but Sainz's penalty undoubtedly cost them precious points.
Right, and then there was the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix.
Yes, where Sainz suspects his performance was impacted as a result of the previous race's unfortunate incident.
Blimey, sounds like we've got an engrossing story to unfold today.
And of course, it's not just me here on F1 Motor Fever podcast. You're joined by the knowledgeable William today.
Hello everyone, it's a pleasure to be here.
Remember folks, we're here every day discussing the latest and greatest from the world of Formula One. So, do hit subscribe and turn on those notifications for all the latest updates. Now, let's put the pedal to the metal. So to reiterate, Carlos Sainz isn't one to mince his words, and he's been pretty clear about his reservations over the events that unfolded at the Las Vegas Grand Prix. The incident of the rogue manhole cover, the damage to his car, the subsequent penalty for changing chassis and part of the engine, it's all left a bitter taste in his mouth, to say the least. The second place on the grid turning into a 12th place start, and the impact that had on his final standing in the championship, it's a lot to swallow.
Hold on, mate. I'm a bit lost here. Could you explain that another way?
Of course, let me break it down. Sainz was penalized for changing his car's components due to an accident that wasn't his fault. This essentially pushed him from a potential pole position to starting in the middle of the pack. This naturally affected his and Ferrari's final standings in the championship. It's a bit like being penalized in a football match for taking a hit from the opposing team. Quite frustrating, don't you think? Sainz also highlighted the impact of the Las Vegas incident on his performance at the following race in Abu Dhabi. After testing a different car and engine in the post-race Abu Dhabi test, he realized that there were indeed aspects that weren't functioning at their fullest during the race. This, he believes, stemmed from the forced changes after the Las Vegas mishap. The ramifications of one race impacting the next. It's like the butterfly effect in action. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. The cascading effect can be quite brutal in such technical sports like Formula One. A small hiccup can set off a chain of events that severely impact the overall performance and even the championship standing.
Very true. And to add to this, Sainz felt that even though Ferrari tried their best to contest his penalty in Las Vegas, they were stifled by the existing regulations. It's kind of like having your hands tied. He suggests that the FIA needs more power to make decisions in such unique circumstances.
It's a tough call, for sure. Having to balance the letter of the law with the spirit of the sport isn't an easy task. But it's these challenges that make Formula One such a dynamic and exciting sport to follow.
Indeed, that's what keeps us on our toes, isn't it? Now, let's shift gears and delve into our next topic. Speaking of varied perspectives, have you had a chance to have a butcher's at some of the internet chatter, William?
Ah, you mean our virtual pit lane, eh? Well, we have an interesting post here by a user called Seth. He says, F1 champ Max Verstappen versus IndyCar champ Alex Palou, going head-to-head in equal cars. Quite the duel, wouldn't you say?
Well, that's a face-off I'd pay to see. Any interesting responses in the thread?
Oh, indeed. A fellow by the name of Fred on Reddit has this to say, quote, I really can't wait for the Max GT3 era. Just watching him find drivers for his team when he knows he can do it better himself will be simply lovely to watch, unquote.
Ha! Now that's an image. What else have we got?
Well, a user called Slime Jumper adds to this by saying, quote, during a test session, he would legit suit up and show them how to do it, unquote. And another user, named Almighty, adds a note of caution saying, quote, he might become the Jos Verstappen of his own team. I hope not, unquote.
Interesting insights there. Any more remarks worth sharing?
Absolutely. A user named Stoic80 shares some stats on the two drivers' sim racing accounts. He says, quote, across their first and second accounts, Verstappen has 557 starts and Palu has 592. Verstappen has 298 wins, 257 poles. Palu has 219 wins, 250 poles. Palu is a world-class sim racer, but even among the very, very best, Verstappen is just different, unquote. Quite the comparison, don't you think?
Indeed. It's always fascinating to see how these online discussions unfold. Thanks for bringing this to our attention, mate. Now, moving along. Ladies and gentlemen, we've reached the checkered flag for today's episode. We've thoroughly enjoyed navigating the twists and turns of the recent race with you. Now, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell to make sure we're revving away in your podcast feed. Sharing is caring, so do spread the word about F1 Motor Fever podcast. Share it in your social media groups, mention it to your pals at the pub, even drop it into your family dinner chit-chat. And if you've enjoyed the ride, be sure to leave us a comment.
Yes, indeed. Don't forget, folks, we're here every day, come rain or shine, serving up all the hot topics, the triumphs, the controversies, and the unsung heroes from the world of Formula One. There's always something going on, and we'll be here to put our 2 pence in and hear yours as well. Be sure to stay tuned, you won't want to miss it.
We're incredibly grateful to have such a fantastic group of listeners. We can hardly wait to hit the track with you all again for the next episode. Until then, remember, pedal to the metal, keep your gaze on the road. Our channel's content is pure gold.